Hello everyone, this is Joseph Lucier here for our weekly Tongren session. I will get everybody on board here with Instagram as well. I am now live on Instagram. So my name is Joseph Lucier, Tongren therapist, about 25 years. Why? Because it works. It's very effective. It is what is also known as Tongren Distance healing. So that would be where I can be here in my undisclosed location, actually in the United States. And I work with people, probably 50 countries by now, all over the world. And I can actually, through the connection of the collective unconscious, as one way it's called, or through the oneness as it is elaborated on by the Buddhist concepts, we can transmit or open a blockage. So we want to try right away. So each week, if you're new to this, you can come to my website, anusarwellness.com, and put in your request. And we probably get about 20 or 30 so far. Or you can go on Instagram or our many Facebook entities. And they are, I can tell you right now, we go to Anusar Wellness, Tongren Practitioners Unite, Tongren Station, and for YouTube. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to jump right into it and see how we can go in order to give each person their choice for everybody gets a turn. So we have Jeff, Pondering Civilian. So we have a tool here. It's not about the tool. This is used as a kind of a map, but also to connect our mind to the methodology so we can use our intention, our consciousness, to do what we call brainwave entrainment, to send cohesive energy from one person to another. So first person, long-term COVID, post-viral syndrome for Jeff. But if people can check in to tell me if they can hear me and see me okay, I want to make sure all of the technology is cooperating. Looks like it is, but I don't see anybody on any of the Facebook pages yet or Instagram. And I see Julia Rose here. I'd like to know if you want to jump on Zoom to catch up on things and see how we're doing. If there's anything I can do to support you and to help you. Blood flow to the brain. So long-term COVID is long-term inflammation. And how do we combat inflammation for all conditions? Number one is through the microbiome. Number two is to reduce inflammatory waste materials, such as what is cleaned up by proteolytic enzymes. But let's give a tune-up so we increase metabolism to increase all these things. And yes, the page is working. Blood flow to the brain. Mr. Laser is on vacation in Belize. You saw him on his porch before. Anybody in our audience been to Belize? TV 1920, 21, 22. And I'll just put in a quick reminder for people. Command points of the brain stem, circulation, cleansing, anti-inflammatory. We want to remove stagnation. Anti-inflammation, T1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8. Different areas get impacted by COVID, which is like an inflammation furnace that hits the body. Similarly, the spike proteins of the vaccine can also create systemic inflammation, protein particles throughout the body. And we'll do a quick check-in, make sure people can hear me. Good AV, thank you very much. That helps a lot. I appreciate it. So, vertebral artery, spinal artery, and anti-inflammation. T1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8. We also see for the eyes, which is C3, and the lacrimal glands of the eyes. And for the hands and the arms, brachial plexus of the shoulders, right around the shoulder height of the muscles of the back, trapezius. Jim, good to see you. Catherine, you can hear me? One thing somebody was mentioning, if you're on a computer a lot, you got to do what I don't do yet, which is to get screening glasses, because that can affect the macular degeneration as well. T1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8. And then all the detox organs for long-term COVID. T9 right side for the liver, L2 for the kidneys, T4 for the skin, the major detox organs of the body. L1 to L2, adrenals and kidneys, and then grounding to liver 3 and kidney 1. And how about you guys on Instagram? You're losing. Facebook has outdone Instagram in this race. And I'm going to sit back so you can all see my hands. I know that's what people like to do. So I apologize for not doing that right away. So the vagus nerve, the gut-brain axis for Jeff as well. GB12, CV4. And grounding to liver 3 and kidney 1. Next we have Esther for SI joint, bladder, and neuropathy. And if there are other people out there, you can support me to tap for Esther as well. All my students out there should join in. And for all of my students and for Tongren patients, there are 2 options. We have a workshop coming up on April 23rd. If you have studied Tongren or taken classes with me or Tom, Tam, or Bell, or any of those, you can jump into our Masterclass, which is a little bit of a review and a lot of new stuff, but it's also good. If you haven't taken Tongren, what people do to join the Masterclass, they take the level 1 online and level 2 in person. Blood flow to the brain. So let's work on GB13, anxiety for Esther, frustration, another good word for it, sensory cortex, motor cortex, hypothalamus, pituitary. Yawning is a thing with Tongren. As I learned even from martial artists, when you start to have this energy situation, you actually start to relax the nerves, and that actually creates a yawning condition. And command point to the brain stem, but blood flow, nerve flow, blood flow, vertebral artery to the spinal artery, So we also have a colon cleanse coming up, our summer colon cleanse, May 7th. Seven-day program, very famous. Actually done all over the world. We've even done French groups. People from all over the world. So it's bladder, so T7 blood flow, S1, 2, 3, 4 for nerve flow. And for conditions which don't seem to resolve, a juice cleanse, a juice fast, or a colon cleanse is a good option to kind of reset the body. That's another option. T1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8. So neuropathy for the arms, brachial plexus, neuropathy for the legs, lumbosacral plexus. And again, the bladder, S1, 2, 3, 4. And the oxygen for anti-inflammation for Esther, GB12, gut-brain axis, phrenic nerve, and CV17. And grounding, you have an earthing mat. I think those are a good idea. Liver 3 and kidney 1. Let's work on all of those things for you. Next, we have Happy Mama. Catherine McGlynn. Blood flow to the brain. So send Chi for perfect blood, lymph, and calm mind. So, calm mind, GB13. Eyes, please. Use, please. Command points of the brain. Brain points for the brain tumor after surgery for Nishika. There is improvement in her vision. Yes, I'd like to say that again to everyone because these are so tough, and I'm so happy that you have some improvement. There is improvement in her vision, but can't see from left eye. Also tap for numbness on right side of face, tingling in feet, low hemoglobin, and emotional balance. All right. So the cranial nerves for the brain, GB789. And you're coming up soon. Both sides, cranial nerves, especially the ocular motor nerve, the occipitans nerve, and the optic nerve, GV24. Blood flow to the brain, oxygen to the brain. Don't forget frankincense inhalations through steaming or diffusers. I would highly recommend that. So we're going to now also work on perfect blood, lymph, and calm the mind as we did GB13. But blood flow, let's work on support of the bone marrow. It's all about the bone marrow. So T1 for the bones, GB39 for the bones, and craniosacral fluid to support the bones, GB789, T1, tailbone 1 to 4. Yes, that is a thing. Tailbone 1, 2, 3, 4. And I saw a real big focus on this in the Europeans. TB 1, 2, 3, 4. And it's good for the tailbone. Every breath we take, the tailbone moves. Every time the tailbone moves, it encourages the immune system of the spinal cord. So here's a question for everyone. Do you think you do most of your breathing through your nose or through your mouth? There's a big question of the day. Lymph, let's do a lymph tune-up. T3 for the lymph and the entire lymph, axillary lymph of the armpits, inguinal lymph of the groin, and the lymphatic duct to release all the lymph. And one of the best things you can do for the lymph is rebounding, which is kind of jumping on your own mini personal trampoline. So good to see you, happy mama. So let's do some more work on the eyes for Catherine McGlynn. Top of the afternoon to you, Catherine McGlynn. And the left eye ouch point for Nitika. So left side issues, right side numbness. There's a crossover behind the medulla area. That's why people have strokes on the left side. The right side has the issue because there's actual neural crossover in the neck. So let's work on vertebral artery to spinal artery for the whole spine. Facial artery for the face tingling. C3 for the eyes. Again, blood flow, nerve flow, facial artery, trigeminal nerve for the eyes. T1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8. But especially low hemoglobin, which we're working on for everyone. T1 for the bones and bone marrow. Yes, there is a crossover. If people have a left brain injury, they will have right side paralysis. And I've been told that's kind of like an evolutionary survival method, because imagine if your whole body got hit on the left side, broke the left side, did all these things. So instead, it says it got hit on the left side of the body. So let's try to go to the other side of the body and try to save that. Something like that. Yep. Something like that. So they kind of technically an evolutionary survival thing, like everything in our bodies. And grounding, hemoglobin, T1 for the bones as well. And liver 3 and kidney 1. More ouch point for the eyes for Catherine and Nitika. And you are next, Jim. Great to see you, buddy. It's good to see our community here each time. So we're going to work with Jim, Kimby's, and Curious Human. So Parkinson's, make sure you get plenty of probiotics. You do not have any constipation. You have the herbs from India, Ayurvedic medicine, Mucuna pruriens. You're well hydrated. You're eating plant-based nutrition. Those would be the things. Insulin resistance as well, because of too much fat in the diet. Reduce your fat intake for 10 to 20%, and make it plant-based fats only. That would be my recommendation. And Julia, I see you're here. That's great. But we need to get to talk and catch up and see how you're doing and what I can do to help you. And I sent you information from Dr. Wheatgrass as well. So continue to work with Parkinson's, this specific part of the brain, GB789, substantia nigra part of the brain, which controls shaking, if that's an issue, not always the same. So the question for Kimby's, are you taking any medication for bone densities? Because they actually work in the opposite way. They make your bones more fragile, or at least the same. They really don't help out at all. The bisphosphonates, they can actually cause injury. So vertebral artery, spinal artery, GB12 for the Parkinson's. Let's work on the brachial plexus for the hands, the nerve from the shoulders to the hands. Bone density for my mom, Cynthia. Yep, happy to do that, CD. T123478 for Parkinson's. Well, let's really focus on the gut, the microbiome, the source of most Parkinson's. Also the inguinal hernia. And if you have constipation, that's a big red flag for understanding. And grounding liver 3 and kidney 1. So what happened to Instagram, you guys? Oh man. Did you guys on Instagram see my interview with Tongren Station? Did anybody see it? Okay, Kimby's detox adrenals. Let me see if you answered some questions. Kimby's, no, I'm not taking any meds. I know about the negative effects of the prescription drugs for bone strength. Something is interfering with your bone metabolism. The other thing to check is there are issues, methylation issues with certain people. As just as a way to not be involved in that, they don't have any problems. Make sure all your supplements are methylated. Make sure you have good clay, silica-based bone stuff. And I'm also saying this for the other person for their bone density as well. There are some herbs from Dr. Winston called osteo herb. There is the algae cal, which are guaranteed bone density improvements. There are leafy greens, which need to be incorporated every single day through smoothies, especially with the fiber. But those are some basic things to understand right away. You have methylation issues. Yes, something is interfering with your metabolism and your uptake. So I would definitely vitamin D, vitamin C, clay, herbs with silica, algae-based bone density improving supplements called Algae Cal. And Jim, you don't have constipation, which is great. I would still take plenty of probiotics. You also said you don't have shaking, so two things seem to be inconsistent with the general pathology. It might be in simpler, a B12 deficiency. So I would take a lot of sublingual B12, and we talked about this before, and B complex vitamins, massaging the neck, blood flow to the neck. So let's work on these. So you do have shaking. Okay. Let me know what kind of probiotics you're taking. Let's get a better one for you. So Kimby's, Curious Human, and Julia, you are next as we continue on with the Parkinson's. Because you want to make sure the nerves, the microbiome is absorbing, so you have the vitamins and minerals to build stuff. Megaspore, yep, that's a great one. That is one of the best ones out there. I would alternate with another one from Ohira. I will type it in here. 3 and 5 year fermented probiotics. B. longum, these are spore-based probiotics, and if people aren't familiar with them, you should know that they are clever. They kind of escape the different pH changes in the gut, and then they survive. I always suggest for the best spore-based probiotics is a product called natto. It's fermented beans. It's an acquired taste, and it has natural occurring spore-based probiotics. It's brilliant food. And there's a great supplier in New York. I'll be ordering my own tonight to replenish. There's a great probiotic product from Canada, cultured coconut, I think it's called. Some of the best strains ever. So you can get natural food-based, and then you can also get supplement-based. So I would definitely work on that. But you don't have constipation, so that's not quite the issue. But we want to make sure we optimize anyone's digestion. So Detox for Kimby's, T123478, anti-inflammation. And the detox organs for everyone, actually. Let's work on Kimji's T4 for the skin, which is our largest detox organ. T9 right side for the liver, which is our basic filter, our kind of a sponge that collects all the toxins and sends them out of the body from all of the organs through the hepatic portal, kind of a big network of blood supply, goes through the liver to filter it, sends it out in the body, and then sends it to the kidneys. I would work with Kimby's Algae Cal, Dr. Winston Osteo Herb, green leafy vegetables, more hydration, more exercise, resistance training, subtle ones, even pushing. Pushing is a good exercise. No stress, but it tells the body, it tells the bones to get stronger. So more of that if you can. Isometrics, they're called, I think. And for regeneration, and for that would be clay and aloe vera. And for reestablishing nerve connections, that would be through wheatgrass. And for bones, T1 for the bone marrow bones, GB39 for the bones as well. So take a look. You can alternate. Megaspore is a brilliant product. It's good to get food-based ones as well as supplement-based. Fermented beets, sauerkraut, gut shot, which is a liquid, which I learned about from somebody here in our group tonight from Canada. Liver 3 and kidney 1. So you're on track with all of that. So let's think more. Did you try the Mucuna pruriens herbs, Jim? And did that help with your shaking? So yeah, a lot of it is from the liver, absolutely. So bitter herbs, bitter green herbs help the liver to detox. Liver gallbladder cleanses, colon cleanses can all take pressure off of your liver, and then clay will help take pressure off of the liver and remove toxins through the skin instead of through the liver. So those are some ways you can take herbs. Not sure what herbs you mean. Bitter herbs like dandelion, nettles, all the dark leafy ones, and sometimes there's even like a bitter herbs combination, like from Vital Cleanse and Nutrify company. They have actually a bitter herbs supplement which you can use to actually, because bitter herbs, they trigger and kind of instigate the liver to release toxins. That's why bitter herbs, traditionally 100 years ago, 200 years ago, people would take digestive bitters with their meals because it would start the juices of the liver and different things to help digestion. And grounding, let's work on the ouch point of the ribs, T1 to T12 as well. And then the right foot. There are special herbs for methylation. You can get methylated almost anything. Now, there are companies that specialize in that. But for Jim, we want to focus on nerves and the brain. And here's a tip for everyone, PQQ. That is mitochondria energy improvement. So let's work with Julia and Curious Human. Lose belly fat. The best way to lose fat in the body is to stop giving your body the message that you're in a famine response. You receive a famine response because the body isn't getting enough nutrients, and it holds on to stuff just like when bears go to sleep. They hold on to stuff to use later. But we don't go to sleep all winter. So we need tons of nutrient-dense foods. We generate bone, silica, clay. Bones and cartilage regeneration, aloe vera. Aloe vera and clay. Those two things will be game changers, along with that Algae Cal supplement, the Dr. Winston herbal supplement with the silica. Those types of things will actually make a good amount of progress for you. So let's work with Julia as well. So for belly fat, T1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8. For the bones, T1 for Julia and for Curious Human. And remember, bones don't do anything unless they're told to do so. So you need pressure. You need pressure. Rebounding or isometrics or light weights. Those types of things. The body needs to get a message. When astronauts go to space, there's no gravity. The bones get the message, oh, there's nothing pushing. We don't need to get stronger. In fact, we'll get weaker. And all of the, traditionally, especially years ago, the astronauts will come back with lower bone density. So now you see them up there going crazy to give the bones a message. Oh, don't stop growing. Don't get weaker. So AML, T1 for the bone marrow, boosting platelets. T1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8. C6, C7, T1, bone regeneration, calcium balancing, and bone regeneration for everyone. For the AML, granulocycle fluid, GB789, tailbone 1, 2, 3, 4. So for all good blood stuff, T1 for the bone marrow, spleen for platelet recycling, and special points for the bones and AML as well, GB39. T1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8 for inflammation, and for the gums, tea tree oil for the gums, or oregano oil for the gums. Put it on your finger and clean it out. In addition to that, I would do coconut oil swishing 10 to 15 minutes a day. That will sanitize all of your inflammation and lower the inflammation. I know it's also possibly a side effect of things that are happening, but those are the things that I would suggest. Tea tree oil for the gums, or oregano oil for the gums. I just use oregano oil. I had an actual tooth infection from a broken tooth, which I couldn't get fixed because of COVID. And I was able to get rid of that and the pain by using clove on the gums. But let's work on the bones. T1 for the bones. BL9 for the cartilage. And then we want to work on the right hip for curious human. T7, blood flow, nerve flow, just as I teach in the upcoming Masterclass. We have 3 things coming up. One of the biggest workshops that I've ever done with most significant information. It's about oxygen and cellular medicine. It's called Just Breathe. You will actually go over breathing techniques. You will go over advanced oxygenation techniques for water. All these different things. More oxygen, less inflammation, less disease. Period. Better breathing through the nose instead of the mouth. So did anybody answer my question? Are you breathing through the nose or through the mouth? But you still, I see you getting knocked off the chat, Julia, but you should be okay. I won't miss your situation. And we have blue sky as well. So blood flow, nerve flow for the entire spine, including the tailbone for Julia and Curious Human. Grounding. Vagus nerve, grounding, liver 3 and kidney 1. Yep, I hope you're doing better, Masterpiece Maker. Masterpiece Theater Maker. Did I get that? So Trishan, burning sensation. That means the nerves are screaming. The nerves need help. Blood flow, nerve flow, and blood support through vitamin B12 sublingual, as well as B complex vitamin to support the B12. So for the burning sensation, command points to the brain and brain stem. And also CLL for intrigued habitant. For anyone with leukemia, work on the bone marrow, the Hannah Kroger technique for the bone marrow, tailbone, I should say, adjustment. She fixed 5,000 kids. Adults are different. They kind of grew and their body is kind of changed, but it's still a good option, a great option. TIA, which is a small little stroke for the brain, which we can work on, blood flow to the brain. We'll also work on Drew for the kidneys. I think are you still in Florida, Drew? T1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8 for the nerves. But the source of the nerves is the lumbosacral plexus for both legs. So blood flow, nerve flow, T7, right side blood flow, lumbosacral plexus for nerve flow for both legs. And then bladder 54 for both legs. Then the ouch point. Spleen 6 for hemoglobin, bone marrow as well, healthy red blood cells. So there are things that can help to improve blood production as well. Certain herbs from a very specific formulation. And grounding to liver 3. And kidney 1. You're very much welcome, Esther. And I see you in again, Julia. Well, let's tap some more for you. Certainly can use the help. We're happy to do that. Mermaid is here. Tap for immune system, brain inflammation, Lyme, mold, and chronic fatigue. Blood flow to the brain. Command points of the brain and brain stem. For Julia, again, the cranial sacral fluid for the bone marrow. Let's do some extra for the bone marrow and the platelets. The relaxator or breathing technique helps to manage the tailbone. T1 for the bones, T1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, the immune system and brain inflammation, blood flow to the brain. For anything dealing with the brain, I would do inhalations through steam, through diffusers or bowls of frankincense, essential oils. You have chronic fatigue because your body is trying to fight off this stuff. Whenever people have chronic inflammation, it takes up a lot of work and you lose energy to do regular everyday stuff. T1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8. Frankincense. You can take it sublingually, but I also recommend through the sinuses, across the blood-brain barrier to actually cleanse the brain. Sounds cool. So left leg is swollen, ST. Let's work on that. How long has it been swollen? Is it affected by eating a lot of salt? Is it inflamed because of an injury? Maybe you can give us all some more information. So wheatgrass juice is great. I would use the wheatgrass balm on T1, 2, 3, 4, tailbone 1, 2, 3, 4. The wheatgrass, yes, the specific protocol recommended by Dr. Wheatgrass himself. Yes, that is a thing. There is a Dr. Wheatgrass out there, the wheatgrass master from Australia. And give means you're not taking any meds, which is good. So it's a matter of that you're not getting stuff into the bones. Methylation is a way that the actual cellular metabolism, the cellular functionality is impacted and not up to par. So definitely methylated different things like methylcobalamin for B12 and different things, clay baths, clay foot soaks. T1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, Lyme, mold, chronic fatigue. Let's work on everybody for energy. Stomach 36. CV4 for energy, chronic fatigue. Okay, thank you, ST, for the additional information. Work with a physical therapist or yoga therapist to open up that L4. Inversion tables with chiropractors. You want to open up that space. L4, L5, I had an L5, L6. Crazy pain. So let's work on that next. We will work with you, SD, just a moment. Yep. SIBO and celiac. Some people say you shouldn't take fermented foods, but I think you should if it's food-based, plant-based. I would definitely look into the probiotics can be from microbiomelabs.com for SIBO, as well as Dr. Ohira, I think it's 1 H, 2 R's, Ohira, 3 and 5 year fermented medical grade probiotics. And we're going to do a little bit of scanning tonight. SIBO, CV4, and the microbiome for everyone, T11, T12, the last two of the thoracic, L4, L5, the last two of the lumbar. That's the classic microbiome protocol. And grounding, celiac disease, of course, no white breads, only sprouted grains. There are lots of non-gluten types. But celiac, a lot of the conditions that we talked about today, even the Parkinson's, may be misdiagnosed Epstein-Barr virus. So always get tested for that. Always rule that out. Always rule that out. Epstein-Barr virus should always be ruled out. 80 to 90% of the whole planet has had or is active with Epstein-Barr virus. And grounding, liver 3 and kidney 1. So we'll do a scan. This is a thing, scanning. We learned that in the end of the last century, a long time ago. Insulin resistance, in case I missed that, that is, too many fats in the diet, should be 10 to 20%, and it should be ideally from plant-based sources. So you can sense and feel scanning right here. There's a CV17 issue. Right now, which is for oxygen and breathing. And you can scan to clear, just as I do with massage therapy. Nose, mouth, nose, then mouth while sleeping. Happy mama, you need to sleep with your nose only. And there are techniques for that, which I go over in the workshop. But it even solves sleep apnea and different things. It increases oxygen into the tissues. So we want to include a young family member who's experiencing strong testicular pain for 5 days. So let's work on that, and we will finish up here. And ST, we're going to work on you right now as well. Blood flow to the brain. Blood flow to the brain command points. Testicular pain, if they ride a bicycle. Could be a hormone imbalance, so let's work on GV 2022. Could be a blockage. L1. If there's an injury at L1, that could be a problem for that as well. 5 days, yep, L1, check on that. Vertebral artery, spinal artery. P1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8 for ST for the allergic reaction. They've ruled out torsion, not sure what that is, and cancer, as well as inflammation. How old is the person with the testicular problem? Also, if you could let me know, that would be great. So L1, L2, L1 for the testicle area. So L1, 2, 3. So if anybody's interested in the Tongren training, let me know. If anybody's interested in the 7-day colon cleanse, let me know. And the other, which I think will be probably one of the most important workshops, it's called Just Breathe. It's about oxygen, and it has actual action items to improve your breathing. And I don't know if a lot of people know, but over the last 400 years, because of the way humans started to breathe through their mouth instead of their nose, the actual structure of the jaw can change. It can make your teeth be crooked. It's pretty interesting stuff. So I've done a lot of research, personal experimentation, as always. Interviews coming up on the topics. L1, 2, 3, testicular pain. Left leg, so blood flow and nerve flow for ST. P7 right side for blood flow to the lower extremities. Lumbosacral plexus for the nerve flow to the lower leg. And L4 area, L1, 2, 3, 4, herniated disc. L4, L5. And the ouch point area, left leg, which is swollen. Let's work on the kidneys for liquid management. Left leg, which is this one, the ouch point for ST as well. And grounding, liver 3 and kidney 1. And hello, Stacy and Blue Sky. We will work with you. Forward fold bending, also good for the testicle area. Anything to remove stagnation in the groin area, the root chakra area. Okay, so tap for a relaxed mind. This for everyone, GB13, right side. Confidence, GB13, right side, left side for Isaac. Pancreas, insulin resistance, possibly. Eye health for mom. Pancreas and eye health. Okay, nope. And for Stacy, we have tap for insomnia, hip pain, period pain, and endometriosis. So one of the best things is the classic herbal remedy is strawberry leaf tea that will help to regulate and remove that pain. It's a classic remedy for that. Blood flow to the nerve flow, vertebral artery, spinal artery. T1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8 for any itis, including endometriosis. Hip pain, endometrium area. T7, 8, 9, the pancreas, especially T8. And C3 for the eyes. So in the workshop, we teach people how to breathe through their nose. You get 20% more oxygen when you do that alone. May 7, first time to present this workshop. And it's also good information from Europe, which they use specific devices for oxygen balancing and for anti-cancer therapies. T1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, anti-inflammation. Ouch point for the eyes. For mom. T3 for the lungs. Lung 1, lung 2 for the lungs. Microbiome for everyone. T11, T12, L4, L5. And that entire area for endometriosis and different things. CV4, also good for hip pain. Insomnia, GB13, in-town third eye area. And Instagram. Did I scare everybody away? I was on Instagram for an hour and a half interview last night. And we will finish up and do our ending cleansing. Insomnia, GB13, right side, in tongue for sleep. I heard there are 3 things that are really good for sleep: melatonin, valerian, and L-threonine. Yeah, those 3 things. 3 things. Yeah, that's it. T3 for the lungs, and lung 1, lung 2 for the dad. Don't want to miss the dad. And for the hip pain, L4, L5, S1, S2, tapping from hip to hip for the hip pain. And the endometrium area again, CV4. and grounding for everyone, liver 3 and kidney 1. And we will do a Qigong. Put your mind in your lower belly, just below your belly button with your eyes closed, and breathe into it. Just breathe into it. And thank you, everyone, for joining us. Let me know if you're still here, and if you might have any more questions. Let me make sure I didn't miss. Nose, mouth, while sleeping. And thank you for everyone. Thank you, Stacy. Let me know if everybody's doing better or the same. And then we will do a clearing, which is basically an entrainment, a clearing of the signal and creating a nice cohesive energy signal for everyone listening to us tonight. Perfect. Thank you for being a member of our community. That's what keeps us strong. More people, more healing, more compassion. We all benefit. Thank you for joining us, and I will see you next time, same bat channel, next Thursday. Take care.